Get comfortable in a place where you can be on your own. Lie down or sit, or whatever is best for you, and allow yourself to get quiet and listen really deeply. You see, there is more to us than we see on the surface. Most of our life we're living at that surface level, thinking and feeling and doing whatever's coming to us in the moment. And because there are so many inputs now that we have that are constantly on, we tend to be thinking really, really fast and thinking and feeling more urgently. But that's not the level that truth lies at. And there is such a thing as truth. And we can define it within ourselves. I want you to listen for a feeling deep inside. That moment when the clouds part and the sunshine shines through. To listen for that feeling of peace and clarity and truth that lies within all of us. That place where all of our experience comes from, deep inside. In the silence, when nothing is really happening. But where the thoughts come in and where the feelings form, starting to create each and every experience you have in the moment. This is where it all comes from. Deep inside, out of that place of silence, out of that feeling of clarity. A feeling will start, a thought will form, or a thought will form and a feeling will start to be birthed into the moment. And that is the experience you are in that moment about to create. From moment to moment to moment. We do this all the time, and this is all we can feel. Feeling does not come from the outside in. No matter how much and how long in our lives we have told ourselves that this is the case, it is not true. Nobody can put a feeling in you. You are way too powerful and creative for that. What happens instead is that you take the idea that's fed to you, then triggers an automatic meaning or pattern in you. And then from within the silence, the thought and feeling come together to create your experience in that moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, with infinite creativity again and again and again. We rarely take the time to come back to truth, to the moment, from that place of fully embodying as the truth of ourselves. That moment when you're so aware that you feel the breath on your face. You feel your hair being blown against your face by the wind. You are conscious and aware of everything that is happening in and on your body. Every touch, every breath, every gasp, everything. Every vibration. I can feel just now the vibration at the end of my toes. But we're rarely aware of this kind of detail, of being us, because we allow ourselves to operate at such a surface level in our day-to-day lives. And while for many things that may be convenient, it blocks our ability to connect with others. It blocks our ability to see the truth of a situation, to feel the truth or not of another person. To know who we can truly trust. To be able to listen really deeply and hear what the person needs to say, instead of jumping to conclusions and categorizing them. There is such a thing as truth, and we can use it to navigate our way through life. But it's a deep truth, not a mind-level thinking truth. It's a who we really are level of truth. And when we're in it, it feels beautiful. And when we drop out of it, we don't realize, because we're so fully experiencing our life in the moment. But when we drop in out of it, we will drop into faster thinking patterns. Repeated thinking patterns, stuck on one subject, boring ourselves to death by repeating the same things again and again in our minds, and creating the same uncomfortable feelings again and again in our bodies, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment, in our infinite ability to be creative beings. And our infinite ability to be creative beings very often leaves us being doings, human doings, where we're just constantly overthinking and being too busy and doing. Because we think if we get really quiet, if we allow ourselves to go to the silence, that it's going to be deeply uncomfortable and we'll have to face all our really uncomfortable feelings. But the place you want to go in the silence is deeper than those feelings. It's the point where those feelings are created by you, moment to moment to moment to moment. And if you can just pull back a little further than the moments where you're creating those feelings, you find yourself in perfect peace, awareness, joy, and clarity. And it may be a little difficult to listen to a practice where I keep going silent. But if I don't keep going silent, if I describe the moments where you are not in this place, then I cannot help you come here. We grow up learning how our emotions, our feelings, our behaviors, our thoughts create our life in a way that leads to a great misunderstanding. Many of us believe that the person over the other side of the playground that called us names caused the fear and anxiety that we experienced. But they didn't. The truth of it is that the feelings that we have in those moments when somebody is not being their best selves, and generally are demonstrating that fact by their behavior, the feelings that we have in response are created out of this space within where we have perfect clarity, and a new feeling or thought starts to generate from that place. And creates a feeling, a thought pattern that will probably get faster and faster and faster if we don't catch it. And then behaviors that result for that. For one person, that could be fear and running off to cry somewhere else. Another person, it could lead to fear and them going up and punching the person in the face. Neither of which is an adequate response to a feeling and a thought that we have created from the place of silence that lies deep within us, in our endless play to create our experience of this life we are living right now. I've dropped back into silence in that place of perfect peace, where my mind is absolutely quiet and I feel really, really good. And I invite you to come to that place too, to join me here. The place where every experience we have on this life starts its point of creation from the formless into form, into feeling and into thought, or into thought and into feeling. Can be either. And through that into speech and behavior. And if we were given an instruction manual for our lives, this is a place that we would learn to know very, 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 very well. Because if we were taught that we, from a place of absolute peace and beauty and truth, had the ability to create every experience that we think and feel into existence from this place of formlessness, what fun we would have playing the game of life. What fun we would have knowing that when we slipped into something less negative, that it was just us not seeing what's true in the moment. And the game might becoming more and more conscious of the patterns that we have developed over our lives in order to play the game at a higher level. And I've dropped back into silence, and I invite you to join me here. And look for that feeling of peace, and then if you're aware of a feeling of slight discomfort of some kind in that space, can you see in the moment what role you're having in creating that? See, we fear to come into silence. We have to keep our minds filled because we think we're going to come into emotions that are too difficult to handle. But when you come beyond those emotions, you settle into absolute peace and joy, our natural state, from where everything else is formed. And the truth is, if we were to put away our smartphones and our computers and our televisions and all the other things that lead us to have ideas about particular things, to lead us to have ideas about things that we can start to hold really, 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 really tight to ourselves. If we slip into an ideology, for instance, it becomes really, really true for us, even though it's not true. It's just true for us. And we can hold it onto it so tight and identify with it so strongly that we make it part of our personality. And when we do that, nobody can comment on that particular subject without us getting very defensive. Because we feel like it's us, our personalities themselves, that are being attacked. But it's not. It's simply an idea that you have adopted in this world. And you could at this moment be having these thoughts that I know that I am right and this whatever is. But the only thing that we can really know is right is what we feel in the moment. When we get back down quiet, silent to this place of creation that we all hold within us. And the only way that we can change our environment is by learning to inhabit this place more and more. And becoming more and more conscious of the habitual patterns we have developed and held close that we think are part of our personalities. And they're not. They're just thought creations in the moment that are coming to us from this place of formlessness. I invite you to take a little bit more silence in your life and a little bit less time with things that inject ideas into your head. Because not all those ideas are useful. To you taking your particular skills and service and beauty forward into this world. And I'm going to leave you there in that place of quiet. Take a little more time before you go back to the normal. And just relax and let your mind bathe in the silence and the peace and the quiet relaxation that it's feeling in this moment. Thank you for joining me here. And come back and listen to this a few more times. Who knows what you'll hear next time? It could be that something hits you quite differently the next time you listen. Because when we get into that place of peace and quiet and formlessness where we feel so incredibly relaxed, we can have new thoughts, new useful insights that give us a whole new perspective on our life. But we can only get these when we get silent and quiet. And allow ourselves just to be for a moment, to be who we are, in the truth of who we are.